Good day, great minds. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be replicating this flyer design I did earlier. So I did this design for an international client at Bournemouth, UK. So it's actually a church press festival flyer. So I'm going to be taking you through the steps I used in creating this stunning flyer design. So stay close and also subscribe to this channel if this is your first time. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is to create a new document. So go over to new. Okay, so I'm going to set my page at 1080 pixels by 1350 pixels, 300 resolution, color mode RGB, and then create. So the first thing I want to do is to bring in the first background. So I'll bring in my first resource, which will be this. So I'll click and drag this to the interface. Okay, so we have that. So I'm going to apply a color balance effect on this. So I'll go over to the image layer here and click on adjust and then color balance. So I'm going to increase the cyan to around -45 degree, and the blue, I'm going to increase it a bit to this side, and then the magenta, I'll take it a bit, and that's okay for me. Alright, so I'm going to apply a little bit of Gaussian blur effect on this. So I'll go over to filter menu and click on blur, and then Gaussian blur. So I'll set my Gaussian blur at 2.5 degree, 2.5. So you can follow the settings. I set my Gaussian blur at 2.5, and then I'll click on OK. Then I'll bring in another resource. I'm going to be blending to this background. So the background is the first thing we're going to be working on before we proceed to any other thing in the design. So I'll drag in the second background here and then bring it here. So I'm going to blend this gradient mesh into the background we have below. So I'm going to blend it. So I'll go over to the blending options here and choose color blending option. So I'll come over here and click on color. So that's the blending option I used. So you can see that's the same thing we have here. Like in the other design, that's the same thing we have. So that's okay for now. So I'm going to apply a reflection of light at the center of this background. So because that is where I'm going to place the theme of the program. So first of all, I'm going to go over to my layer panel here and then add new layer. And after adding new layer, I'll pick up my brush tool and then increase the size of my brush by coming over here and then increase the size. Let me see. Okay, let me use the shortcut key so that one won't take our time. By clicking on the right bracket button in my keyboard, so I can increase the size of it. Okay, this is okay for now. So I'm going to change the foreground color of this brush to white. So if I click on this, it's going to give us black because the foreground color is at black. So I don't want it to give us a black color. So I'm going to change the foreground color to white. So I'll come over here below to the bottom left and click on the arrow here and switch it to white. And come over here again and click at the center. Now this is what I needed, that reflection of light at the center. Okay, so we have that. Alright, then the next thing I'm going to do is to type in the text that are needed for this design. So I'll go over to the other design and see what we have here. This is how we did this. So I'm going to first of all type Bournemouth Press Festival on my keyboard. Bournemouth Press Festival. So I'll pick up the text tool and then I'll reduce this. It's too big. So let us check the font style we used in the other design. The font style we used in this other design. So the name of the font is called Readup Trial. So that's the font we're going to be using in the second design. So it's called Readup Trial. So I'm going to type Bournemouth Bournemouth Press Festival is what we are going to type. So increase the size of this one. And I'll type festival here. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Alright then, so we're going to copy the color code we use for the other text. So I'll just come over here to the text and then copy the color code. So this is the color code. I'll copy the color code and use it for the other design. So follow my settings. So do well to copy the color code as I copied the design. Alright, so at the top here I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to create a rectangle. Take it up here. So I will copy the color code for the rectangle. And do same for this other rectangle. I'll paste it here. Okay, so I'll bring down the rectangle below here and then I'll place it below the Bournemouth text. And change the color of this text to white. So I'll pick the white color there. Alright, so let's see what we have if it's in the same alignment. Okay, we are almost done with this. take it up a bit again. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to match this text together. So match the text together, that is to group them. So I'll press Ctrl E on my keyboard and match them together. So that means I'm not going to be doing any other change of text here, so it's going to remain this way permanently. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is to apply a blending effect on this. So going to the blending option here, I'll double click and click on blending options. So we have this. I'll come over here and choose the kind of blending option I want. So I'll increase the depth. You can choose to increase the depth and reduce it. Okay, so I like it this way. I'll leave it that way. Alright, so you could see similar thing here. We have that similar effect on this text. So that's the same thing I did here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make this text become slanty. So click on Ctrl+T to apply the transform button, and then right click and click on skew. So I'm going to skew this, make it slanty. So that's what we have here too. So the next thing we want to do is to type in the text, the theme of the program. So I won't spend time in typing the theme of the program. So I'll just highlight everything and take it to the other design, so we don't waste much time. So the same thing I did, the same way I used in creating the theme is the same way I used in creating this other theme here below, the chant in the spirit. So make sure your texts are properly aligned to the center. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in another resource, which is the drummer's hand. So I'll pick the drum here and drag to the interface and resize this a little bit. So resize this. So let's see what we have here. Okay. And also, I would also draw a rectangle. And I'll give it a blue color. So let's see the color code we have here for this rectangle. So I'll copy the color code here. I'll copy the color code and then come over here and apply the same color code. So I'll paste it there. That's okay. And then I'm going to transform this rectangle to a warp. So I'm going to right click and click on warp. Then so I'll do it that again. I'll click on warp and take it up. Alright. So I'm going to take this down below the drum. Alright, so we have this here. We're almost done with this tutorial. So I'm going to apply a camera raw effects on this drum to make it become sharp and more quality. So I'll go over to filter and click on camera raw filter. So I'll be doing a little effect on the drum. So come down here below and increase the texture, the clarity, and then dehaze. Okay, a little bit of vibrance, and that's okay for me. Alright, and the next thing I want to do is to create another rectangle. This time around I'll pick the same color code I used for the blue here. Okay, let's see what we have here. I think it's a different color code. Oh. So I would double click here and copy the color code, and I'll replicate the color code here. So I'll paste that. Let's see what we have here. Okay. And we'll use this. So I'm going to apply the same effect I created on the theme of the program here. I'm going to apply the same effect I used on this title. So I'll go over to the layer style, double click on the rectangle, go to the layer style and activate the bevel and emboss. So I can as well reduce this, and okay, that's okay for me. So this is where I'm going to place the next text. So I'll come over here and pick up this text and then drag to the other design. So you can type this text in your own spare time. I won't have much time to spend in typing the text. Okay, so we're almost done. So what's left to add? So I'm going to pick up this also. So for the red rectangle, you can follow the same steps I used in doing the other rectangles. So that's the same thing I used for this other rectangle. So okay, so make sure everything is properly aligned to the center. Very, very important. Okay, so the host of the program, chief host, the Holy Spirit. So bring it here. Okay, we are almost done. So pick up the drop it here. So there's one other resource that I think 3 or 4 more resources to impute in this design. So the drum here is going to be added. So I'll click this and drag here and resize it. I'll just place it at this corner. So I'm going to apply a motion blur effect. So I'll go to filter and blur, in motion blur. I think that's okay. 29 degrees, okay. Alright. And then the image of the worshippers. So the image of the worshippers we have below here is what I'm going to do next. So we'll just go over my File Explorer and click and name and drag to the interface and drop it here. Please subscribe to this channel if you have benefited from this tutorial. If you are benefiting from what we're doing here, subscribe to this channel. So resize this image to this point. I'll take this below here. So what I'm gonna do now is to blend this image into the background, into the rectangle below. Is to blend these images into the rectangle. So I'll go over to my blending option and choose any of the blending options that we have here. Okay, we have color dodge. Let me see, linear lights. You could choose any one you want, any one of the choice. So I'll go for color dodge. Okay. So erase the unwanted part in the image there. Using my brush tool. So I'll do same for this other image. So I'm going to use the color dodge. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I'll pick up my brush tool and also erase some unwanted parts at the top there. Alright, we are done with this tutorial. Absolutely done with this tutorial. One thing left to do, you could see in when light here, a red when light at the corner of the images. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest. So I'm going to be creating a when light using my brush tool. So I'll add a layer here and pick up my brush tool and then increase it a bit and apply it here and also apply it here. Now that's too much, and there's a little bit of that. I'll increase the size of the Nguyen brush. So I'm going to change the color of this brush to red. So double click on the layer here and then go over to color overlay. So we already have a red color here. So that's okay. So you can copy the color code here and make use of it. Alright. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. Please subscribe to this channel if you have benefited from this tutorial. And also feel free to ask questions in the comments section below. And also feel free to make use of any of the resources made available in the drive in your own personal tutorial. Thank you very much for your time. See you in the next tutorial.